You deserve everything you're going through because you'd rather become good tomorrow than be good today. It immediately makes us think of all the things that we want to do better, or all the bad things that we know we must stop doing. But whenever we're faced with the actual work and challenge to do so, to make that change, we find a reason to once again delay that work, to find a reason why now is not the right time. But that once we have this certain position in life, or the time to do it, or the money to do it, that's when we'll attack this issue, and that's when we'll finally become better, as we promised ourselves. And we take this excuse and this promise as a justification in itself to delay once more what we know we should be doing now.
You can change your life today in this moment by making these decisions, and your life path will have veered. You will have changed direction. Your tree of life will move. It's just that it takes time for that new direction to bear fruit. Whereas you can poison the fruit in a second. You can kill a tree real fast. You just can't grow one real fast. But it doesn't mean that if a seed's planted and you're watering it, it's not growing. It just takes a second to get above the surface.
And what if the truth is that you're one relationship away, one meeting away, one conversation, one new thought, one new emotion, one new tactic or strategy away from completely changing the trajectory of your life?
I am one decision away from a totally different marriage, a totally different life, a totally different job, a totally different income. Your life comes down to your decisions. And if you change your decisions, you will change everything.
Sometimes the worst pain is the most necessary. Just like those situations of the past where you couldn't see a way out, yet still somehow found a way to get through. This dark storm you're going through is only temporary, but it's necessary in order to see growth when you finally reach the light.
That every single thing, every single challenge, struggle, or behavior that you ever want to adapt or avoid asks of you to attain it or to fight it in this present moment. Not in the past, not in the future, but this present moment. Epictetus likes to say, this is what all your training has been for. The Olympics are now. The training is over. You must showcase what you have learned now. And this is exactly what you will realize that in your life is going on as well. No matter what it is that you're dealing with. The challenge, the struggle, the fight, the time to win or lose the battle is right now.
Your dark side will never tell you, will never ask you, will never say, please. Tells you what to do because it knows you have the ability to do it. It knows you have the confidence to do it. It understands that the pressure in your life serves a purpose. It understands when most say, don't let the pressure exceed the pleasure. The dark side tells you that the pressure is the pleasure. The pressure that the dark side is pushing on you is pushing who you are, who you're meant to be, to the forefront.
You're telling me you're going to give up your entire life, your entire dreams, everything you've ever wanted for yourself because the opinions of people who are never going to do a motherfucking thing in their entire life matter to you. These people are going to do the same shit they've been doing now, next year, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And anybody who's been in the game long enough can tell you that. Most people just opt out of the game for fear of the opinions of people who end up being irrelevant anyway, which makes no sense.
You may not realize this, but you are the mountain you were destined to overcome. The challenges that life places in front of you are merely to help you reflect on your progress, your courage, your discipline, your self-respect. Remember this, it's not a linear path, and at times the climb will seem impossible. Promise yourself to try again tomorrow. It won't get easier. It's you that gets better.
Everything in this world that you love, you will lose. That's not meant to make you sad. It's meant to make you sober. It's meant to make you a better, more present version of yourself. It's meant to remind you that the moments in life that you enjoy are as fragile as they are precious. Everything you love, you will lose. These moments are as precious as they are fragile.
And the battle becomes to be right here, right now. And that's when you must fight it. That's when everything depends on you. If you once again take what seems to be the easy road and lie to get your way out of something, then you've lost. But similarly, if you don't give in to it, if you now make a change, if you now act exactly like the person that you want to become, then you, in that moment, and until you do otherwise, have become that person. You have achieved your goal. Stick to that and think of nothing else. All of your dreams need to be and can only be realized or not realized right this instant.
What is yours will always find you, no matter how lost you feel right now.
That dash between your birthday and your death date, that's what matters. There's millions of people that said next year, tomorrow, next time. They took their dreams, they took their books, they took their gifts, they took their passion, their purpose, they took their legacy to the grave. Start today. Make today your day one. If you truly made that decision, moving forward to your best life has just begun.
Every single day that you delay making the change in your behavior that you need to make, you are making it that much harder to change. Every single day that you reinforce old habits, old behaviors, old ways of doing things, the harder it's going to be to break them. If you keep doing the things you're doing and you keep heading in the direction you're heading in, by the time you're 40, 50, and 60, it's going to be near impossible to break those habits because you've spent decades reinforcing the same thing. And what, you're gonna wake up one day and just be a new person? You've been telling yourself that for years and it hasn't happened yet, because you have to unlearn all of those habits, all of that behavior. But if you start today, it's going to be easier than if you start tomorrow or next week or next year or, God forbid, a decade from now. The longer you wait, the harder your journey is going to be. It's just the way it is.
You are always competing against yourself. There is two versions of you, a winner and a loser. You have within you someone who is going to do everything required to make their goals a reality, and you have within you someone who is going to procrastinate your life away. You have someone in you that is disciplined and focused, and you also have someone in you that is easily distracted and does not execute the plan. Which one of these versions of you is going to surface to the top? The one that you feed more.
I face something every time I'm being exposed to a new challenge. Every time when I feel it's a challenge, it only tells me there again is a chance now to grow, let's say. To grow, to open up.
Be grateful for the problems that you have, because I believe they're specifically designed for you, your growth, your development, and the things that you need to possess as an individual in order to grow and become the individual that you're destined to become. So the set of problems I got, they specifically designed for it.
Study yourself, make yourself better. Don't worry about what anybody else is doing. Learn from it. Don't change who you are to become somebody else. Think about the time that you spend in your life trying to be somebody you're not. If you put that time and effort and energy into being who you were and who you are, how much farther along would you be in life?
We create what we focus on. Where focus goes, energy flows, but most people are focusing on what they have to do, not what they can do. They're focusing on what is versus what they're here to create. What makes you a leader is you see things as they are, but then you see it better than it is, and you make it the way you see it. You come up with that vision and you make it happen.
Simply put, you get to choose one of two ways to make any and every decision. One of two. You can either move through life acting on curiosity and hope, making decisions from a place of expansion and self-trust, or you can build your life and make decisions from a place of constriction, fear, and doubt. So when it comes down to it, ask yourself which of the two you value more and start acting from there.
If everybody around you supporting you, you're probably not trying to do something very big. You really aren't. Because most people don't want you to see you get too successful or too happy because it'll expose them. So don't let people with small lives and small thoughts project their limitations onto you. Because they're trying to get you to yield to get on their road. Don't yield. You were born to be on the road less traveled.
Best revenge in life is success. There's nothing better than showing the world that you did what you said you would. Their words of negativity, their hate towards you saying that you can never do it is fucking irrelevant. Look at where you are right now, be proud, and throw up that middle finger to the outside world's negativity, to the noise.
Be the boring friend. Go to bed early, prioritize work, and chase your dreams rather than pleasure. They may say you're crazy, but you're doing this for yourself. Besides, you're meant for something more. It'll be worth it in the end.
No matter what you are going through in life, how sad you are, how much pain you're feeling, the trauma that you're going through, you are strong enough to see another day. And it's not about being 100% every single day. It's about just showing up. That's what I do. No matter what the odds, no matter how I'm feeling, I show up every single day.
Your journey might not have started with all the answers laid out on a silver platter. You might have stumbled at the start, but those missteps don't define you. Instead, they forged you into someone deserving of creating profound change in your life. Right now, you hold the power to change your future. Don't wait for the perfect time or circumstance. Believe in yourself. I believe in you too.
A lower self and a higher self. You can recognize this. Your lower self comes out when you eat junk food, you spend 2 days just playing video games all day, when you don't get your work done, you're lazy, when you're not nice to people, you feel kind of bad, you feel kind of ugly and rotten. You may not admit it to yourself, but something doesn't feel good about it. But when you have discipline, when you spend 3 months getting in really good shape and you get better habits, when you complete a project, when you work well with other people and get something done, you're tapping into that higher potential that each human being, every single human being has.
You are the architect of your own reality. So design a life that resonates with your true self.
What you think and what you believe is what will come true for you. Your thoughts create your life. It's that simple.
There comes a time when you have to snap. You make a choice to go all in, to stop hesitating, to be relentlessly consumed by what you love. You give everything towards a vision only you can see, and everything turns off except this one thing that dominates your life. Once you decide, life becomes simple. Life's too short to not see what you're capable of.
What kind of permission do you need? To do the thing that you and I both know you really want to do? the thing that not everyone is going to approve of, but you know you're meant to do, what kind of permission do you need to get up and get after it? Yes, there's some risk, mostly just a bruised ego, but you know what's a hell of a lot worse than that? Living with the regret of inaction. Knowing the thing that you need to do, the scary steps that you have to take to grow into the person that you know you want to be, and doing nothing. So if you need it, this is your permission slip. Go do what you need to do.
Disappointments come. Those are normal. That's part of life. But the question is, how do you handle it? How do you handle the coming winters and the disappointments and the downtimes? Well, you can get stronger, you can get wiser, and you can get better. The winters won't change, but you can. And that's how life changes for you. See, before I understood, when it was winter, I used to wish it was summer. I didn't understand. When it was hard, I used to wish it was easy. I didn't know. Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better.
Failure, mistakes, problems are actually the best thing that can happen to you. That instead of getting reactive and going, God damn it, what's wrong there, and getting all stiff and rigid, just bend with it and say, this happened for a reason. It's teaching me a lesson. I made a mistake. I need to learn from this.
This is it. There will never be a more perfect time than now to put everything on the line. Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about how long you can keep this up. Just do it today. Use every ounce of energy within you to be the absolute best that you can be.
Set direction, not destination. If you want to be agile, quit trying to arrive somewhere. Just take the journey. The dream's free, the journey's not. And there's no improvement when we arrive. You don't improve before you start, and you don't improve after you arrive. You improve while you take the journey. It's the journey that you discover. It's the journey that you improve.
Don't do things just because you think you're going to get something for it. That's not why we do things. Yeah. Do what's interesting to you. Don't worry about the outcome. We can't predict the outcome. We can never predict the outcome. Follow your own inner guide. It directs us.
Stop comparing yourself to other people. You're not in competition with them. You've got to get this in your mind. In this life, your only competition is you. Life is you versus you. All that matters is when you go to bed tonight is that you're better than you woke up this morning. And if you string together 365 of those days, then you're a different person in a year with a massively different life.
Beautiful thing about life is that you get to choose your hard. Everything in life is hard, but you get to choose what your hard is. It's really hard to build an incredible body and physique. It's also really hard to see your body completely fail you. It's really hard to build meaningful relationships. It's also really hard to live on the surface with a bunch of people. Yeah. Again, you get to choose your hard. It's really hard to live a life of purpose, working on something you care about. It's also really hard to live without purpose. You get to choose the thorns that you're going to have on the path of your journey. It's something that I think about constantly. It's like, how can I just endure this a little bit longer? How can I just embrace this hard of whatever it is that I'm going through?
The only thing between you and the person you want to be are the skills that you're missing. First, imagine yourself in 10 years doing exactly what you want to be doing. Now ask yourself, which skills does that version of you have that you currently don't? List those down, and next, ask yourself how those skills are acquired. The next step is to be relentless in your pursuit of developing those skills every day. Make sure every job, opportunity, side project overlaps with this list in some way. Focus on the skills that you're missing, and over the long run, you'll become exactly who you wanted.
Do you really want legacy? Do you really want to live out your dreams and live life as you imagine? Do you really want to reach your full capability in mind, body, and spirit? Do you? How bad? Does it make you lose sleep at night? Does it leave you feeling restless? Is it at the forefront of your mind every minute of the day?
Now here's what I want you to know. If you don't sow, you don't reap. So if your focus is on reaping and what are people going to do to add value to me today, every day is going to be empty. Every day you're going to come up short. But the day that you realize that adding value, sowing seeds is more important than reaping the harvest, your life and your communication will incredibly change. You see, I consider the success of my day as a communicator, as a leader, is based on the seeds I sow, not the harvest I reap.
I think you would give me everything you own in 25 years' time to be the age you are now and as healthy as you are right now. And I think it's a really interesting meditation to think about if you had a time machine, if you were 30 years in the future, if you could be this healthy and feel this good, you'd give everything materially that you own in 30 years' time to be back here.
You have to learn to do things you hate in order to do the things you love. No payoffs come without sacrifice. Imagine how much further you'd be if you did things even when you didn't feel like doing them. People think there's some complex formula to winning, when the most basic one is do what you said you were going to do before it became inconvenient.
Pick up the world on your shoulders and walk forward. Pick up the world with all of its trouble, with all of its suffering, with all of its evil, and move forward with it. And in bearing that burden, learn that you're the sort of creature that can bear that burden and therefore deserving of respect. I've never encountered an idea that's better than that. There's terrible evil and there's terrible suffering. It's bottomless. But the human spirit is capable of voluntarily taking that on as a challenge.
The vision that you glorify in your mind, the ideal that you enthrone in your heart, this you will build your life by. This you will become. You will build your life by, and you will become the visions that you glorify in your mind and the ideal that you enthrone in your heart. So many times in life, the enemy, the greatest enemy, is the inner me, what you are enthroning in your heart and what you are visualizing in your mind. What do you see? What do you want to be? What do you want to do? What do you want to have? Those visions, either extremely, extremely positive, extremely, extremely negative, or somewhere in between in the mediocre realm, those are the visions that you will live your life by and you will become.
Success is something you attract. Success is not something you pursue. It's something you attract by becoming attractive. And the whole scope of this we call now personal development. You can have more than you've got because you can become more than you are.
You're in your life and you get in your car and you drive to work and you feel this restlessness. Pay attention to that, because that is a signal from deep within you trying to wake your ass up and to get you to take your life seriously. You're one decision away from a different life, and you need to push your ass through all the excuses and all the feelings and start taking action.
What has helped me has been me alone, getting my shit together and being accountable for who I'm not and who I want to be.
Every single negative feeling that you feel, the negative feelings that are the reason why so many people quit, are actually the reason why you're doing something right. Because if you're afraid, if you're scared of what might happen, that means you're taking a risk. If you're doubting yourself, if you're questioning whether or not you can do it, that means you're testing yourself. You're pushing yourself past the point of comfort. If you're upset because your friends and family don't support you and you're dealing with criticism from them, that means you're living for you and not for them. So many people just feel the negative feeling and they want it to go away, so they give up on their life. They give up on their dreams. But you have to understand what these feelings mean. It means you're trying to do something exceptional. It means you're trying to do something that most people are scared to do. And it means you're doing something that's going to be worth it.
We're not men because we face the battle and we get immediately victory every time a battle comes up. We're men because we face the battle and we stay in the battle when we feel like we're losing and we feel like we're getting beat up. but we stay in there and we keep fighting and we plant our feet and we say, until death do I part.
Don't be surprised that you never make any progress if you only show up when you feel like it. Nothing in this life is handed to you. Everything has to be earned. Hold yourself to this standard in everything you do, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. You can't expect professional results when you act like an amateur. Show up, put in the work, and don't stop until you get there.
Let's be clear about something. The path you've chosen is going to be a difficult one. Your new life is going to cost you your old one. It's going to cost you your comfort zone and your sense of direction. It's going to cost you relationships and friends. It's going to cost you being liked and understood. That doesn't matter. People who are meant for you are going to meet you on the other side. You're going to build a new comfort zone around the things that actually move you forward. Instead of being liked, you're going to be loved. Instead of being understood, you're going to be seen. All you're going to lose is what was built for a person you no longer are. Remaining attached to a life you're unhappy with is the greatest act of self-sabotage, and releasing it is what you must prepare for to truly be willing to see real change.
Nobody knows but you. You can't get advice on what you should do with your life, right? Nobody knows what you are. Like even sometimes you don't really even know what you are. You got to take your shot. You got to do it alone. And people will help you, and when you get the ball rolling, people will jump on. But if you don't believe, nobody else is going to believe. Yeah. Following your dreams is a lonely, solitary, scary, dangerous pursuit. You can't wait for somebody to think you can do it. It's a lonely, scary, dangerous pursuit, and you got to be willing to risk everything to become. You got to be fearless, you got to be relentless.
Do you think someone's ruined your life? You're right. It's you.
This ain't you, bro. This ain't you. The reason why you're a loser, the reason why you're making it, you're lazy, you know exactly what to do. Exactly what to do. Because even me, I knew exactly what to do. It just sucks doing it. It sucks to do it.
I mean, really think about this for a second. Everything that you've ever wanted is on the other side of one thing, and that's work. Work is the only thing that is standing between where you are now and who you want to be. So listen, you can sit here and you can lie to both you and I and say that I'm busy, but we both know you have the time. So just get back to work.
Keep on going. When the odds are against you and the world around you is on fire, keep going. When you are engulfed in the flames and they've counted you out, keep going. When evil tugs at your feet, desperately trying to deceive and manipulate you, keep going. My friend, there is nothing in this world that you cannot do. I promise you that.
Success is right at the end of your hard times. If you're going through something difficult right now, you have to know that it's for a reason. Everything you want will be given to you once you go through this trial, once you go through this tribulation. Because if you prove yourself strong enough to go through something hard, if you prove yourself strong enough to not be crushed by whatever it is you're facing, you will be a better person on the other end out. And that better person is capable of doing more. Whatever it is you please, it's at the end of your hard times.
You may have been fooled, because sometimes it's more convenient to say you can cast your power onto this thing that happened that was outside of your control as the reason why you can't be successful, because it's easier to say that than to say that I chose not to do anything about it anyways. And again, listen, you can do whatever you want. You can just keep wallowing in that. You can keep saying that that's the reason, and wherever you point is where your power is. But the only time that you have more power is if you say it's on you, because all of those things may have happened and they may have all been terrible. What are you gonna do about it? Like, no one cares. Like, the world doesn't care. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you can start doing something about it.
I would say inaction is probably far worse than wrong action. Because at least if you make some mistakes and some f***ups, you get to learn from them. You know, if you don't do anything, you just kind of stay comfortable. So you got to be the guy who has to deal with the thoughts on the regular of, oh man, what could have been? Do whatever it is you're thinking about. Because odds are, if you don't, your pattern of not doing it is very strong. You will not regret it. I can say that for sure.
People who are successful look at the clock and they believe that every day is a race against that clock. How much can they get done before they can't work anymore, before they have to go home? And so that clock is an enemy, and they race against the enemy. They want to do lots of stuff, and they'll come in earlier, and they'll work at lunchtimes, and they'll stay later, and they'll come in on the weekends because they want to cover more ground. Well, 80% of people have a different attitude toward the clock. The clock is the enemy as well, but the clock tells you when you have to start. And so you find successful people see the clock differently. They say see time as an opportunity to contribute more value. Unsuccessful people see the clock as the indicator of when they can stop working.
Who wants to speed up success? I do. I want to get there faster. All right, so how do you do it? Are you ready? Total immersion. Only one way. Become a freak. I need you to know that the stuff that you want, millions of people want the same thing you want and will never get it. So why, you, and how? Total immersion. Guys, I want to crack you open, and I want to see that you're crazy, because only crazy people make it. Dive into something with more passion, with more dedication than you have ever done in your entire life.
Winning makes you different. And you know what different does? It scares people. Different scares people. It really, really does.
But I knew for me to grow, I had to do this thing every single day. I wanted to start callousing my mind. I wanted to start becoming a better person. And how you become a better person, how you gain mental toughness, how you become the person you want to be, is constantly facing the things that you don't want to face. If you constantly run away from things that you don't want to face, how is there growth?
See, this is what you don't get. The reason to become the person you want to be isn't about showing off or proving a point. It's not about relying on others to give you validation. While it may feel good to get validation from others, that should not be what drives you. It should be to grow and expand your mindset as an individual to make an impact and difference on the world. Create a name and a legacy for yourself based on energy that you radiate, not the validation you get from others. People who seek others for approval are further away from their true selves.
There's going to be a lot of things in life that you don't have control over. They might cripple you, hurt you, and break you into pieces. But they will also build your character. So when you encounter them, don't be scared. Welcome them as opportunities to grow and be a better version of yourself. It might be hard, but through that process, you'll come out the other side stronger. It's all part of your story. Keep going.